until I get a verification we're live. You know what, I said I was going to bring my Jeopardy music generator, and I didn't. We did have some camera problems, so sorry for being 5 minutes late.
All right, we are live on Facebook.
Okay, can you launch Instagram then? Yes. And then, so guys, since we're live on Facebook, and that means we're also live on YouTube, today is Q&A with Dr. Ernst and the Ask Dr. Ernst show. So I am going to require you to comment. Like, this is an absolute must be done. And Aliona can grab a mic over there from our mic holder, and she can tell me the questions that were being asked so that you can hear them. Do I have a topic for the day? Of course I do. I always have a topic of the day. I'm going to talk today about, is everything right?
Instagram's not, it's not letting you do a live.
Sorry, Instagram, we're having problems. Maybe reset the phone. Well, so here's what I'm going to recommend. Did you know that just a couple days ago, $3.2 billion were exchanged between Procter & Gamble and a supplement company called Thorne? So I'm just ask you a couple quick questions. Is that a good idea? Is it a good idea to have a pharmaceutical-backed industrial company purchase up and gobble up a very large, trusted source of supplements? Thorne has been a well-verified, well-studied, pharmaceutically grade, pure supplemental company. And I like Thorne. I used to. I used myself personally, and even with other patients, various Thorne products. But once a supplemental company is purchased by a devil company, and I say it because it's pharmaceutical, what happens is they change the stuff. This happened with Siete. If you know about that, the grainless chips and the grainless tortillas. Pepsi comes around and offers $1 billion something to this family of 7. So they sell their grainless avocado oil chips and burritos and snacks to Pepsi. And then you know what happens? Pepsi changes the ingredients, doesn't change the label. You still think it's Siete because you've been programmed they're healthy. And then just a couple days ago, Siete, now owned by Pepsi, gets busted for using canola oil and other vegetable oils to cook their products in, but then the label says it's avocado oil. So what happens when Thorne, a well-trusted supplement company, is purchased by Procter & Gamble? Give it some time. I mean, this just happened a couple days ago. So the current Thorne products that are available right now, they're still Thorne made and they're good. The problem is going to be in about 90 days when Thorne no longer is Thorne, and when the powers to be at Procter & Gamble have changed these ingredients slightly and have added crap that you don't want, you still think it's Thorne. So I'm just going to talk until someone comments and asks a question. But my topic of the day is, why is it that all these companies that make all this great stuff are selling out? You want to know my real answer? You're not going to like it. Because they never had a purposeful, passionate mission in the first place. They started with a good idea. Think of Siete. It started with a little girl who was allergic to grain, but she's Mexican or of a Hispanic family, and she can't have mom's enchiladas and tortillas and tacos because the corn chips and the corn flour and the corn, the maíz, was damaging this girl. So the family of 7, the Siete, starts figuring out, hey, you can actually make tortillas that taste good with cassava and chickpeas. And they came up with a cassava-based tortilla chip and tortilla wraps. So they're like, oh my gosh, it passes the abuela test, which is grandma says, oh my God, these things are actually good. So they said, hey, there's a lot of people that might need grainless chips and grainless wraps. So this company just whoosh, man, it starts taking over like wildfire. all the healthy, crunchy mamas and all the healthy functional doctors are like, oh my God, for the first time ever, a chip that doesn't have corn in it. And it was great. They made great ingredients. They made great products. If you had the original Siete, like if you ate an original Siete chip, it was cooked in avocado oil. It did have no corn in it, and it was phenomenal. Well, the company starts growing, and the fat cats at the big foods said, hey, we have a problem. This brand is getting too big, and it could interfere with Lay's, Pringles, the corn we want America to eat. I know what you're going to say, Dr. Ernst. Pringles don't have corn in them. Yeah, but it's fake potato crap. The whole point is this. If you get big enough, those that are bigger, they're going to want to take you out. And how a company that's bigger takes you out is they buy it. So would you, there's just a gut check here. If you were offered $1 billion for a company, would you sell it? Let me think about this, guys. How many millions is 1 billion? It's 1,000 millions. So $1,000 million offered to you. Gut check, 99.999% of people would probably say, that's a great exit. I just got $1 billion. The problem is, to Pepsi, $1 billion is like dust in their pockets. So they were like, we need to do something about Siete. $1 billion done. Now watch this. Thorn's like $1 billion? No, we want 3. 3,000 million. Do the math. 3,000 million. I don't even think Thorn has 1 million employees. So they have $3,000 million bills. And if they don't have 3,000 employees, that means like literally every person at company could walk with $1 million. And Procter and Gamble, $3 billion is like dust to them. They're like, you know what? Thorn is getting really good and they're making products that help people. And as a pharmaceutical company, we need to shut that down. So they go to Thorn and they say, hey, Thorn, how many millions does it take? And Thorn's like, it takes 3 billion. And so what does Procter & Gamble do? We'll give you 3.8. And the owners of Thorn said, you may now have our company. Do you see the problem here? All the big fat cats do this. Apple does this. Facebook does this. You name it. Every major pharmaceutical company does this. Monsanto does it. Bayer does it. So there are no questions, no comments?
Angel said, I wouldn't trust them now. They will likely be using cheaper ingredients soon, if not already.
Yeah, so Angela, listen. Say it again.
Great shirt.
Great shirt. It is a good shirt. Okay, so here's the thing. You are correct. So, and here's why. Why do you think Procter & Gamble said we should buy Thorn? I guarantee you there were other bids. Pfizer's probably like, you know what? Thorn's getting too big. Moderna, well, it's a whole different kind of company, but you get it, right? Merck. Think of like the big pharma companies. Procter & Gamble is a huge company. Think about it. P&G, been around forever. So they just landed with P&G, said 3.8, and the owners said we cave. Now, if someone was to come to me and say, I'll offer you $3.8 billion for the Ask Dr. Ernst network, nope, not doing it. Dr. Ernst, are you saying you would literally turn down $3.8 billion? Yes, if it was a pharmaceutical company buying this. Yes. If it was a food conglomerate buying this. Yes. Can you imagine if the Ask Dr. Ernst recipes were somehow muddled up by Nestle? Like, did you guys know Nestle owns a lot of supplement companies? Nestle, like the chocolate milk people and the chocolate people, Nestle, they own Pure Encapsulations. Did you know that? Guess who owns Eterna? No pharmaceutical involvement there. So I say this to say, you guys have to start waking up. You have to start realizing that this is just a money game. The products you think are good for you are not. Primal Kitchen just got busted as a part of a study showing that their avocado oil dressings don't have any avocado oil in them. They have canola oil and vegetable oil. Let that sink in for a minute.
Got 2 questions.
Go for it.
Mindy, she's asking the Thorn that sells those supplements.
Yeah, the Thorn that sells those supplements. Yes, Thorn, a supplement company that's been well trusted and well verified by a lot of holistic practitioners and even naturopathic doctors, this week just sold for $3.8 billion to a pharmaceutical company. Now, is Thorn still going to be around? Yep. Is it going to be the same thorn as it was before? Nope. So you think thorn is good, and you say, I take Thorne's vitamin D. In a year, Thorne's vitamin D is going to be pharmaceutical crap. Do you see the problem? Siete, great brand of food. Pepsi buys it, worst brand ever now. Do you see it? What was the other question?
Okay, good morning, 72-year-old type 2 diabetic. Can't seem to get my my Dawn phenomena numbers.
Yeah, Dawn phenomenon. We can talk about that. What's her name?
Keep my blood, Monica.
Monica.
Keep my blood sugar good for a diabetic, 130-ish. I eat keto, but fasting blood sugar is a problem.
Yeah, so Monica, if you're 72 years young, don't say old. 72 is young. You're not old. Okay, so let's just, we'll let that sit. Type 2 diabetic, what it means is you have insulin resistance. And if you're doing everything right with diet and your insulin resistance isn't resolving, it means that diet is not necessarily your root cause. The 3 root causes of type 2 diabetes, no matter your age. Neurological involvement. The vagus nerve is not communicating with your pancreas properly. It could be your problem. Number 2, leaky gut. It is well known that a lipopolysaccharide leak induces an autoimmunity against the insulin receptor, and antibodies start attacking the receptor dies, therefore you can't regulate your sugar. And number 3, toxin-induced insulin resistance. Heavy metals, pesticides, fungicides, and microplastics, they can get in that insulin receptor and they don't let go. So that's why your insulin doesn't work, and that's why your sugars aren't coming down. So best thing for you, I'm going to have one of my assistants give you a link to our consultation page on our website. Just let's do a phone call. We can help you with that.
Debbie's asking, is there anything I can take naturally to sleep? I'm waking up at 1 p.m.
Absolutely, and it's a product that we use. One of our main suppliers gives us something called a BioSleep peptide. So peptides are kind of, they're in a boat of, yeah. So like, I'll give you an example. GLP-1 is a peptide, bad peptide. Semaglutide is a peptide, bad peptide. There is a peptide, though, that is naturally occurring in rice that has been shown to help kick the melatonin cycle and help someone to induce sleep. I'm still a bigger fan, Debbie, of fixing your environment. So making sure you have a good winding down protocol at night, making sure you're not looking at blue lights for at least 2 hours before you go to bed, making sure that you get those smart bulbs in your house that at 6 or 7 o'clock can turn yellow, and then at 7 or 8 o'clock turn orange, and then as soon as the sun is completely down, they turn red. So it goes yellow, orange, red. It programs your eyes and your circadian cycles to resync. That'll help you sleep a lot better. Black out your bedroom, put your room down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. These are all proven things that help you to stay asleep and fall asleep. But there is something called, ready, BioSleep peptides. We have them in our clinic. If you're interested, you can call, text, email, and we can get you some BioSleep peptides. You just take one little capsule, it dissolves in your mouth, and in about 30 minutes, and if you wake up during the night and you can't fall back asleep, take another one. They work really well.
Liz is asking, how do you recommend recovering from a colonoscopy?
Liz, what a great question. So the easiest way to recover from a colonoscopy is not to get them the next time. Colonoscopies are absolutely wasted time. I know that you were probably told you should get it because of either your age or your risk factors, but there's no research that shows colonoscopies have a benefit in the longer run. The only way I would ever say get a colonoscopy is if you somehow had a diagnosis of severe polyps and you have to do a follow-up for visual examination, maybe. But here's the problem and why you have to recover from a colonoscopy. Problem number 1, they give you this nasty drink that wipes out everything in your colon, including all the healthy bacteria you have. Number 2, the colon is not a hollow tube at all times. It actually is flat and closed on itself. So how do you get a tube in a flat collapsed area? Well, they have to puff it open with air and they flush it with water. So to get that tube in you, as they progress, they have to puff it open like a balloon, look around, spray it with water, move forward. Puff it open with a balloon, spray around, look at it. And so it's very irritating to the colon. It actually can bruise you and you can have micro tears, etc. This is why we do not recommend colonoscopies. So the easiest way to recover from it afterwards is do a fast for a day or 2, let your colon naturally reset, ease into your foods. We would do soft smoothies, soups, sauteed vegetables that are, like steamed or wilted down, scrambled eggs, like soft foods for a day or two, and slowly work your way back to normals. And then here's the biggest and most important thing. You have to almost micro double dose probiotic, prebiotic, postbiotic. So if you're a patient of ours, Liz, I don't know your last name, but Liz, ready? I would do Ion, 3 teaspoons a day. That's a pre and postbiotic. It's a terahydrite with fulvic and humeric acids. And I would take 4 probiotics per day, and I would do that for 2 weeks in tandem, and then I would start rotating. After my 2 weeks in tandem, I would do 2 weeks only of Ion and 2 weeks only of the probiotics, then 2 weeks of the Ion, 2 weeks of the probiotics, and you're back in your regular rhythm.
Mindy is asking, how about Cologuard?
Cologuard is an absolute waste of time. It is a blood test to supposedly look for colon cancer, but it is just positive and negative. Having it be negative doesn't mean you're actually negative, and having it be positive doesn't mean you're positive. If you want the best of the best of the best of the best of the best colon cancer testing, there's 2 ways to do it. You can find what are called cancer antigens. I believe for colon cancer it's 19-9, so it's called CA19-9 and CEA, carcinogenic embryonic antigen. So if you were to test positive for CEA and a CA19-9, then we go, oh goodness, there is a colon cancer. See, Cologuard is just like plus, minus. It's the weakest test. If you want to really hit a home run, it's called a Galleria, and it tests you for 50 to 80 cancers. And what is it doing, guys? It's running all the cancer antigen markers for each cancer. We know them. 15-3 is for breast, 19-9 is for colon. So like they know the antigens and they can run those on a blood test. Was that it? No other questions? Yeah, we only have 5 minutes left. So guys, 5 minutes for Q&A. Ask any question. The comment says no question is too small or too big. So like ask a big question. Try to stump me if you can. Since the conversation has been on testing, did you know that you can actually test yourself for the presence of cancer now? You can look for cancer antigens. So for example, if I do a CA19-9 and I'm a male, I'm checking myself for pancreatic and colon cancers. If 19-9 is elevated, it doesn't mean I have cancer in the way you would say an oncologist would diagnose it. It means your body is in a cancerous state, leading towards either pancreatic or colon cancer. If I'm a female, 15-3, breast. Carcinogenic embryonic antigen is a global growth marker. So if you have high CEA and high 15-3 or high 19-9, then we're starting to think more likelihood that there is a cancerous state. Now, here's what I mean by cancerous state. Dr. Otto Warburg, a German physicist and I'll call it researcher, discovered that there's 3 things that happen that always precede a cancer diagnosis. Number 1, your levels of lactic acid go up, specifically in your urine. Lactic acid is a byproduct of fermentation. So if you're taking sugar and you're fermenting it, you get lactic acid. Pyruvic acid, it's a little more complicated, but pyruvic acid means you have shut off the mitochondrial citric acid cycle. So what should happen is sugar should turn into pyruvate, and pyruvate should turn into acetyl-CoA, and acetyl-CoA is fuel for your metabolic engine called the citric acid cycle. The problem is if pyruvate turns into pyruvic acid, then that doesn't go into the citric acid cycle, and that ferments outside of the mitochondria. And cancer cells do that. Cancer cells are a pyruvic lactic acid feeder. So if you have a urine test that shows high lactic acid, high pyruvic acid, and you have a CEA marker, and you have a 15-3 or a 19-9 positive, we're going, oh my good God, you do have a cancerous state. Now here's the tricky part. Does that mean if you got a mammogram, you would have a tumor in your breast? Not yet, but you will if you leave that state. It's kind of like before this plant popped up, there was a seed, and it was being watered, and it was growing. But you won't see the plant until it passes the top of the pot. But when it's, see how deep this is? When it's growing and it's below the pot line, you still have a tree. It's just a baby tree. So the threshold of laboratory testing for oncological exams, you have to have a big tree before they see it. This isn't big enough for them to say that's a tree yet. It's too small.
Mindy is saying, can you send me the name of that sleep peptide again?
It's called BioSleep Peptide, and yes, I'll put a comment in the... Mindy, for you, it's super easy. Just text the office, say I want a bottle of BioSleep Peptide, and they can mail it off to you. BioSleep Peptides, text the clinic. Hi, this is Mindy. Please send me a bottle. Shoo! And guys, why are we doing it for Mindy? Mindy is a patient, was a patient, and she understands what we do. You have to be in our database, guys. Like, I know it's going to happen. You're like, can you send it to me? Can you send it to me? Can you send it to me? You have to be in my electronic health record in order for me to be able to send you something. How do you get in the electronic health record? You have to do a consult with us. How do you do a consult? On our website, it's free consultation. Yes?
The link in the comments.
A link in the comments.
Helen is asking for the parasite test link.
The parasite test link? I'm not quite sure. I mean, like, to get parasite testing, that's the consultation. In order for me to order tests for you for parasites, we have to have a consult first. You can go directly to us. Link in the comments. But I think, I don't know what time it is because my watch is dead, but we have 10 minutes? We've gone over by 10 minutes. We are finished. It is time to shut her off. Yeah, so look, if it's after this live stream, then just put your comments below. We can answer them. Little shameless plug. You guys are going to love this Saturday. Like, you're going to love it, okay? I'm interviewing a skeptic, and I'm calling the show A Skeptic's Guide to the Ask Dr. Ernst Galaxy. Because Lou Torres was by far the most skeptical person I've ever met about what we do. Had always that, this isn't what my doctor says, but yet he became a patient and has had his mind completely opened up. And now the funny thing is, he just told me, I just left my cardiologist and I am extremely skeptical of them now. You're going to get to watch how a skeptic describes his journey by watching our videos, getting tested, becoming a patient, and radically transforming his health so that now in his mid-70s, he is healthier than he's ever been in his entire life. And so check in to that on our broadcast this Saturday at 3 p.m. And don't forget, every Tuesday, 9:30-ish, we're live to answer your questions. Be blessed, everybody. Have an exceptional